All right, welcome back to another episode of 6th grade math. So today we are very quickly going to go over independent versus dependent. And hopefully we remember that when we are talking about this, we talk about X and Y. X is always independent. That has not changed. And Y is dependent. So we have to know this to be able to solve any of the problems. There are different ways we can see X and Y, so let's talk about those. The first one here is a coordinate, so with the parentheses and the comma. So if we're talking X, Y, hopefully we remember that X always comes first. So the first thing would be X and Y. So if I had the point 3, 2, my 3 would be the X and my 2 would be the Y. Okay, and then let's look at this table over here. We have this table. So if I had a table, the first, it's kind of like the coordinate. X always goes first, Y always goes second. Doesn't matter what the labels are, X, Y. It's kind of like the alphabet, X, Y, Z. You always say X first. So in the table down here, that is horizontal. X still goes first, but since this one is going sideways, the top row is your X. So all of that would be the X, and then my Y would be everything on the bottom. Okay? And then the last way we could possibly see this would be in a coordinate plane, which is over here, and they already have X and Y. And we know that X goes across and Y goes up and down. So if it said what's the X coordinate, we would be looking at these numbers or these numbers and vice versa with the Y. So let's look at how this is actually going to look on the STAAR test. So down here at the bottom, it says the table shows the total numbers of calories in person while exercise. Sorry, a person used while exercising. Which list shows only the dependent quantities from the table? So our key word there is dependent. So we need to know that dependent, we go back up to the top, dependent is Y. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. Now I need to look at the problem that they gave me. They gave me a table and it is sideways. So we just discussed up here at the top right here that X is always on top, Y is always on the bottom. So my options are going to be this row or this row. Our answer cannot have things from both rows. So is there an answer choice that has numbers from both columns? Yes. So if I look at A, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is this row. So that's only the top, so that's okay. But B has a 0, a 1, a 267, a 2, a 534. So that has things from both rows. So B has quantities from both sides, so that is our Joe for this problem. Okay, C says 0, 267, so that's just the bottom row, so that one's acceptable. And then D, none of these. Very rarely is our answer gonna be none of these or none of the above. It could be, but very rarely. So we're between A and C, the top row or the bottom row. So again, our answer wants dependent Y. So looking, my answer is going to be C because that's what's on the bottom, which is my Y. A was the independent. So remember, X is independent, Y is dependent.